Hey guys, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Hey, you ever been working on a project and you come across those screws or bolts that won't come out? Matter of fact, when you try to unscrew them, you end up stripping the screw head. Now you can't get it out at all. Well, that's when this comes in handy. It's called an Easy Out set, and it helps you to get those stubborn screws and bolts out when there's nothing else you can do. Stick around and I'll show you how it works right after this. Okay guys, I'm out here doing a project right now. I took a door off. As you can see on this trailer, it has multiple doors, but I took one of the doors off because I'm gonna go get it sandblasted or powder coated, and I needed a quote on it. But in the process of doing that, okay, I had to unscrew these bolts here. Let me show you the other ones. Okay, I had to take all of this out for that door right there that I took off. All right, now it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, and I eventually got all of the screws out, but there's always a stubborn one, right? So what I ended up doing for some of them is cutting the heads off the screws, all right, with a cutoff wheel just to get it out. And I took a vice grip to unscrew them from the holes, all right? Here's the vice grip. The vice grip allowed me to take all of the screws off except this one, like I said, okay? For some reason, it's just stuck in there, doesn't want to come off. But I was able to take the rest of the hinges off, all right? But we have to deal with this guy right here. So what I'm gonna use is an Easy Out set, all right, to take that out. Now this is an Easy Out set, okay? It has 5 different sizes that you can use to extract something like that, that's stuck in there without a screw head on it, right? You got sizes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you have a guide in the back here telling you which size drill bit or which diameter drill bit corresponds to each size, okay? So if I'm gonna use number 1, I'm gonna need a 9/64 drill bit. If I'm gonna use a number 2, I'm gonna need a 5/32 drill bit, okay? And so on and so forth. All right, guys, I came back into the shop because it got kind of noisy out there. But like I was saying, with the extractor set, all right, you have to use a drill bit, okay, before you actually use the extractor. And we're gonna show you that in a second. But you also need to know the size of that bolt that's stuck in there, right? Because you have to match the drill bit with the bolt and the extractor. And that's what it does on this chart once again. So I took one of the good bolts and I measured the size of it, right? The size of the body, the size of the shaft, right? Including the threads around it. So I measured from one side here, okay, the outside thread, to the other outside thread. And I did that with a dial caliper, a vernier caliper. So I simply make sure that it's set at 0. I opened it up. Now, the way you interpret the reading on this caliper is in the thousandths of an inch. That's thousandths with a THS on the end. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is look at where this portion of the caliper lands, and it lands between the 3 and the 4 thousandths, right? But it gets more granular when you look at the scale here. So we know it's between 3 and 4, and then you simply look at the dial, right? And the needle lands on about 67. So that's 0.367. So it's a little under 3/8 of an inch. All right, so now that we know that the size of our bolt is a little under 3/8 of an inch, we can look at our chart here. All right, so it's not gonna be 3/8 to 5/8. It's gonna be the next one under, right? 5/16 to 3/8. That's where our bolt size falls into, 5/16 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch, okay? So once we know that, we want to go over and see what drill bit we have to use. It says use a 7/32 drill bit, and that's this right here. Go find you a 7/32 drill bit. Then it tells you what extractor to use, a number 4. So we need to use this one. So the first thing I want to do is take a punch. That's the blue metal shaft with the pointed tip that I'm holding right there. I'm going to take that and put the pointed tip in the center of the bolt. Okay, right there. And then I'm going to take a hammer and hit the punch so that it makes an indentation in the center of the bolt. Just hit it a few times so that it makes a nice indentation. I'm going to need that indentation so when I put my drill bit onto the bolt, it doesn't slip off. It has something to sink into slightly to keep it in place. Then I'm going to drill into the center of the bolt like this. I'm going to drill deep enough to allow the extractor to grip. Then I'm going to take my number 4 extractor and place it in the hole I just drilled and tap it in with a hammer until it grips. Then I'm going to take a wrench and place it on the back portion of the extractor and turn it counterclockwise. Now the threads on the Easy Out extractor are designed in a reverse fashion to allow it to tighten while turning it counterclockwise. So as you turn it counterclockwise, it's actually tightening or gripping into the bolt. Now this bolt is pretty stubborn. It still does not want to move. Doesn't want to budge at all. So I added some lubrication oil, drilled the hole out some more to see if I can get a better grip. That still didn't help. I got the threads of the extractor all the way in to the point where I probably knocked out the back of the bolt or drilled out the back of the bolt. Now what I did end up doing with all the drilling and attempted extractions is making the hole in the bolt wider, allowing me to put the bigger size extractor in and trying that out. At the end of the day, the inner diameter of the hole in the bolt became so wide that I could use the pliers to loosen it and pull out the bolt, or what was left of it. Now I came across another stubborn bolt on the other side of the trailer, but this one wasn't as stubborn as the one we just experienced. Check out how easy this bolt came out when we applied the appropriate procedure in using the Easy Out method. So guys, that's how an Easy Out set works. It's not 100% foolproof, but it definitely can help you get out those stubborn screws and bolts when there's nothing else you can do about it. All right? So if you like the video and you learned something, please hit the like and subscribe button, share it with everybody you know, and I'll see you in the next one.